Inserter and Advanced Ads are two of the best WordPress plugins that you can use to implement ad codes on your site. Let's first start by installing them. While logged into your WordPress account, go to Plugins, click Add New, and search for Ad Inserter. Once you see this, click on Install, and Advanced Ads here, click on Install. Once done, you're going to see them under Installed Plugins, and you can go ahead and activate them. Let's first discuss how we deploy codes using Ad Inserter. Click on Settings. You can also access that by going to Settings and then Ad Inserter. Let's first discuss the header tag. The header tag goes into the head section of your source code. This is where you declare which ad units are going to show up on a page. In order for you to deploy ads using the blocks here into the header section of the site, you need to add a hook into the automatic insertion section here. And before you can do that, you need to go to Settings here, click on Hooks. If this is the first time you're creating the hook, make sure you enable it, give it a name, and then, very important for action, it has to be WP_head. Once done, click on Save. Let us now go back to the ad blocks in here. Deploy your header tag, specify where you want this to serve, and for insertion, you can now choose the one you just created for the header hook. If you need to separate your header tags between different sections of your site, you can go ahead and deploy another tag in here on another block, choose where you want it to show up or serve, and then again choose the hook that will insert that in the header section. Now, how do you insert an ad in the middle of your page? Once you have the body tag, deploy that code in one of the code blocks in here. You can always change the name so it's easier for you to manage. Specify the section where you want this ad to serve. And in the insertion section is where you specify where exactly on the page you want this ad to show up. In this example, we are deploying this ad after paragraph 5. If you want the ad to serve below an image like this one, on Ad Inserter, you can go ahead and say after image, and you can specify the number of images before it shows up. How do you deploy a sidebar ad like this one? Deploy your div ID, or again, your body tag. Specify the section where you want the ad to serve, and you don't specify the insertion in here. All you need to do is deploy the code and save your settings. For anything on the sidebar, go ahead, click on Appearance, Widgets. Here, you go ahead and drag the Ad Inserter plugin if it's not there yet. And once that's done, you go ahead and specify the number or the block number where the ad is deployed. And in this example, we have it on block 8. And it's this ad right here. For example, you have this section right here and you want to insert an ad, but you don't know which automatic insertion section that is. All you need to do is deploy your body tag. Again, specify the section where you want it to show up. And you can go ahead and say before, inside, or after the HTML element. In this example, because it's right above these crumbs right here, we'll go ahead and say before HTML element. And then here, click this little box, wait for it to load. And once you have that, go ahead and look for the section or the HTML element where you want it deployed. In this example, I'm going to choose this area, and it detected this element right here. I'm going to click on that. So it shows up in the selector, and I click on Use. Then I click on Save. And that's how we managed to have the ad show up in this section. You also have other sections in here where you can further specify your ad placement. For example, if you just want the ad to show up on specific devices, you click on this and you have your settings in here. If you don't need to separate your header tags between separate sections and you only need one universal header tag, then you can simply go to the settings section and go to header and deploy your header code in here. Once you're done, make sure you turn it on and then click on save. If you also need to deploy a code that shows up before the closing body tag, this is where you can deploy it, and again, make sure it's turned on and then click on save. How about if you're using advanced ads? The user interface of advanced ads looks somewhat the same as when you're creating a post on WordPress. So go to advanced ads, click on ads, and then new ad. Give it a name. For example, this is my top 728 by 90. You can choose plain text and code. Paste your ad code in here. Specify the size. You can make it centered. And then you can specify your display and visitor conditions if applicable. For example, for this ad, I just want it on a specific post. So I can go ahead and choose specific pages. Click add. I can put the title or ID in here. If this is a page where I want it to show up, I go ahead and right click, view page source. I look for the opening body tag. And in WordPress, you're gonna see the post ID number. Grab that number, paste it in there, click, and done. So this code won't show up on any other pages but this one. Then you can go ahead and publish. In order to push the ad live and for it to show up on the site, you need to specify the placement here. Let's say I want it to show up before content. I click on that, and then the ad is live right after. But what about if this is going to be a code for the header section? So you're going to do the same exact process, deploy the code in there, and once you get to this section, you will have to choose the header code. In advanced ads, your ad code will not be pushed to production or will not be pushed live unless you choose the placement in here. If, for example, you accidentally skip this section, you can always go to advanced ads and then placements. Create a new placement and then choose the section where you want it to show up. Give it a name, and then choose the ad that you would like to set. What about if you want it on a sidebar? Again, create the ad without choosing the placement yet. And once it's created, go to Appearance, Widgets. Then drag advanced ads wherever you want it to show up on your sidebar here. For example, right here. And then choose which ad you want to set. And once that's done, just click on save. There's another plugin you can use to deploy a headed footer code. We recommend this plugin if you have like auto ads that you have to deploy on the header, or maybe something that needs to be deployed before the closing body tag. You can add this or install AdFunk head and footer code. And once it's activated, you can see it under Settings, Head and Footer Code. So here is a section where you can implement a site-wide head code. This goes into the header section of your site. You have a site-wide body start code, and you also have the footer code. This one is completely optional, as you also have these features in advanced ads and ad inserter. As always, it is highly recommended that you do your changes on a staging site or a test page first before you push anything live to production.